to Ball Live Weekend Tailgate, presented by Wrangler.
About 2 hours south of Washington, D.C., you'll find Harrisonburg, Virginia, and nestled in the middle of that city is Bridgeforth Stadium, where a top 15 matchup between the #1 Duke Dogs of JMU and Villanova is going down, and it's Friday. Apparently no one has class, and it's the college football.
No, absolutely not.
No class here. College football live tailgate is in the
That was game days here. You kidding me? Come on.
And I'm telling you guys, there's 20,000 undergraduate fans. I'm pretty sure all of them are going to show up on Saturday, and I'm also pretty sure half of them are behind us right now. Dead. They've got sleeping bags.
Yeah.
They got some comforters back there. If you want to hang out and camp out, you could.
I might do that. I just might do that. They're serious about me. We came here 2 years ago, and I expect them to outdo what they did 2 years ago. For sure. JMU. Yes, sir. They're fired up. And this is just a Friday.
Hey, 2 years ago, remember, we had the best Friday crowd ever.
Oh, they topped it.
Just like this. And now they've done it again.
Did they top it?
Yes.
All right. The best Friday crowd ever goes to you guys. So thank you so much for being here.
Not yet. They got to prove it throughout the show now.
We'll wait a little bit longer.
Pump the brakes.
So Friday usually means class, but we do have games tonight for college football.
That's true.
Yeah, we've got Clemson taking on Syracuse. We also have Washington State. They will be taking on Cal. So are either of these teams on upset alert? They're both undefeated right now. They're playing on a Friday. It's a little different, Des.
Yeah, it is different. I think Clemson against Syracuse, maybe because Syracuse, they can score points. Dino Babers, he has those guys running that up-tempo offense. I don't see Clemson falling off, though, just because it's an odd game Friday night. Possibly, potentially, maybe Clemson, but I mean, Dabo's he has those guys playing at such a high level right now. I mean, it's hard for me to say that they're going to be upset by Syracuse, but we've seen stranger things happen.
Yeah, and maybe with Kelly Bryant's injury, maybe because his best part of his game is running the football.
No doubt.
So maybe that slows him down a little bit and slows the offensive down in turn. But I think Washington State is. And Cal's played everybody pretty good.
Right.
They played everybody close. They're playing way better defense than they have in the past. Washington State, remember, they haven't had to travel anywhere. They went to Oregon against a backup quarterback. So I think Cal could hang around with Washington State and possibly win tonight.
I just want to hear Coach after the game. I'm just trying to hear the press conference at the end of the day. Not so now it's time to take a look at our weekend preview served up by Outback Steakhouse. And we do have some good ones coming our way on Saturday, including Michigan taking on Indiana. Remember, they're coming off an upset. Michigan State came in and gave them a loss in the Big House. That game will be at 3:30 on ABC, and then Texas meets Oklahoma in the Red River Showdown on ESPN. Later on, Alabama and Arkansas, and then Utah, they head to the Coliseum to take on USC. That's 8 Eastern on ABC. Let's talk about maybe what we're going to see in those matchups, the surprise that's going to come out of our weekend slate of games here, David.
I think the coming off a big win last week, a physical win, it took a toll, too. You got Donaldson out. You got your best player on the team, Walton out, running back. You got DBs out.
Yep.
So, and I think Georgia Tech's a really good football team. That triple option.
Yeah.
Marshall, they're going to get a lot of plays on the perimeter. They're going to get first downs, and they're going to play keep away. So I think you better watch out for Georgia Tech.
You're right. They're going to play keep away. They are #1 in time of possession. Yep. They keep the ball like 36 minutes per game. So every possession that Miami has is going to be valuable. How about Washington traveling to Tempe to take on Arizona State? I think that's a game. Keep a close eye on that game. Arizona State isn't as talented as the Huskies, but I think it's just like they have their number. They always play them, very well. They rise to the occasion to play the Huskies. They beat them 3 out of the last 4 times they played each other. And the last 2 games in Tempe, Arizona State won. So watch Washington.
All right, we talked about Oklahoma and Texas. I can't say it. Wed Wibble Wivelly. I think that's what I said.
Check this out. Just say Red River Showdown.
The Red.
That's what they're calling it now on ESPN. There you go. I got you.
Because they were looking out for hosts like me that can't handle it.
Exactly. It rolls off the tongue.
But, it's a battle between first-year head coaches. Yep. They're both young. Lincoln Riley now coming off of a loss against Iowa State. Would there be a surprise either way with Texas or Oklahoma winning that game?
I don't think there is going to be a surprise either way because it is a rivalry. And then, like you said, Oklahoma just lost at home to Iowa State, and that was something no one saw coming. And then, obviously, Texas, they started off the season with a big loss to Maryland. Maryland went to Austin, put 51 points on them. Then they traveled, though, to Southern Cal and only lost by 3 points in the hard-fought games. At that point, you started to see where Herman's influence was starting to take over on that team. If they win this game, because I'm assuming that Oklahoma is picked to win it by, I haven't checked the Vegas line yet. I'm assuming that they're picked. I think if Texas wins this game, people will start to forget about that Maryland debacle at the beginning of the season.
And I think Lincoln Riley and Oklahoma got to prove something to us now. I mean, listen, we're allowed a mulligan nowadays because people aren't going undefeated, but Oklahoma, now you're not getting praised, and we've seen them thrive more in the underdog role than as the favorite. But it says something about you. You lose this game, everything you did early in the season, that win at Ohio State, it's out the window. None of that matters. You got to step up and play big this weekend.
And just so you know, Des, right now, Oklahoma favored more than a touchdown. I didn't know that. Obviously, someone told me.
Yeah, exactly. So if Texas pulls off the victory, that'd be big for the Longhorns.
It would. What about Michigan and Indiana? I mean, we saw what Indiana did in the beginning of the season against Ohio State, and then Michigan's coming off of an upset loss to Michigan State.
Yeah, but Indiana they got quarterback issues right now. So Lego is out. So, I mean, once you have a situation where you have a quarterback issue, I don't think you have the stability that, that we saw when they played Ohio State. Obviously, they played Ohio State tough for, maybe 2.5 quarters, maybe? But then, it was all Buckeyes after that. So, I don't know. That's how I look at that game.
The only thing I'll say about it is, who's Michigan going to run away from with that offense?
Yeah.
I mean, defensively, they're going to play lights out every week. We know that.
No doubt.
They got to figure the offense out. And until they do, golly, I think everybody can play with them because they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Can't turn the ball over so many daggum times.
No, you can't do that.
When you turn the ball over 5 times.
You usually don't win. I'm not great at math.
That's a people lost.
Five is a lot.
Percentage of
That's 20%, right?
That's 20% of the game. You turn the ball over. Well, we will see how that matchup between Michigan and Indiana works out on Saturday. But we also got to talk big picture. We're going to have Gino over into the set. He had one good idea, and that one good idea was to talk about the teams that we might be sleeping on right now in the nation. Who could potentially make that college football playoff that we aren't talking about? Yeah, we'll have Gino to join us to talk about it. And what an amazing scene that we see right now at JMU. The Duke Dogs, they're out in full force in Harrisonburg, Virginia. No such thing as class on a college football Friday.
Weekend Preview is brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Aussie rules.
Done. Wow.
College Football Live Weekend Tailgate is presented by Wrangler. With new styles and great fits, Wrangler jeans are ready for anything.
Harrisonburg, Virginia, the home of JMU and the #1 ranked Duke Dogs. Check it out. They already have some of their tarps out. The sleeping bags are ready to roll. Haven't gone to class. It's a Friday, but it doesn't matter. You got to come out, get your spot.
Signs out in full effect.
Yeah, signs out. The purple is out. And now Gino has been let out of the cage. You're here to class up the entire set. You bring a tie. You bring great ideas, Gino.
I'm going to beat Pollock to the punch here. This is where he'll say, "Did you know James Madison personally?" Get the old jokes out.
That would be your first question, Pollock.
No, that wouldn't be my first one, but
I know how you think.
Okay, so you don't know him, though.
That's...
Gino,
I'm going to grab the chair right now.
You're a spectacular performer, but we've had some better performers as of late. So let's take a look at our blimp-worthy player presented by Goodyear. It's Miami's Malik Rozier, who capped off a late fourth-quarter rally against rival Florida State with this 23-yard touchdown pass to Darrell Langham. 6 seconds left, and that was the victory that they needed, 24-20. Finally getting a win over those Seminoles. Which kind of sets up today's comfortable conversation brought to you by Wrangler. Again, it was Gino's idea. He has one good idea, and that's when we let him come on to the segment, when we get to talk your idea. It is, who is the sleeper
Why do I do this to myself?
I don't know.
Who is the sleeper team that we should be talking about that could be looking forward to the college football playoff at the end of the season?
I'm going to go with Notre Dame right now, and here's why. They have maybe the best loss this season, right? I mean, they're rooting for Georgia because of the way they played Georgia. And they have an identity finally, right? We've been saying Brian Kelly's teams, what are they? Who are they? This year, they're a rushing, physical team. They have talent on that offensive line, and they're playing to their strength. The defense is a work in progress, admittedly. But if you look at their second half schedule, it is very tough. So it puts them in a position to make a run. Now, they got to win those games. But if they win those games, I think they're in great shape for a playoff spot.
Almost can't say no to them.
I don't think so.
Stanford, USC, NC State.
There's no doubt. I mean, you're right. If they run the table, they're in. I mean, and think about, too, on the other side of that, if Georgia's undefeated going to the SEC championship game and they run the table, they're both getting in.
Right.
That win against Michigan State's looking better and better now.
Looks much better this week, that's for sure.
What about you, sleeper teams, David?
Well, again, sleeper teams, people have obviously heard of Auburn before.
Right.
People had expectations of Auburn coming into the season, but if you look at them now, the balance on offense and the balance on defense. They're a team I think that could bring, if they're going to play Georgia, if they beat Georgia, they play a great game against Alabama. I think you could also talk about this team possibly being a two-loss team because, remember, they went to Death Valley early in the season against Clemson, who we know is probably going to be in the college football playoff. If two-year losses are to the two teams that are in college football playoff and have been in there the last several years, I think it would be an interesting debate to have Auburn.
Got a shot, right?
I think Wisconsin. You know, this is a team in the Big Ten that seems to be dominated right now by Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. That's all the talk in the Big Ten, but not Wisconsin. They're just quietly winning games, quietly getting better. It's crazy that since Paul Chris has been there, he's had 3 different defensive coordinators, and the level of play has not dropped off defensively whatsoever. Alex Hornibrook has made a huge jump from last season to this season as a quarterback, playing very poised with a lot of confidence, making all the throws. So I think that the Wisconsin Badgers is a team you better keep an eye on.
In a favorable second half schedule.
And first half schedule. Basically, you can just say a favorable schedule.
And they play defense. Defense, I'm sorry.
Defense. That's
You didn't just finish with your entire, what was that?
The flight simulator.
Flight simulator. So if we're not doing that, you have to say defense, okay? What about Miami, though? If it came down to, like, the ACC championship and say, I don't know, Miami loses to Clemson or Georgia loses to Alabama, which team gets in? Or are we sleeping on the Hurricanes right now at all for the CFP?
Not me. I'm not sleeping on. I like Miami. I like what I saw a week ago against Florida State. Obviously, that was a big win for them. I think it's huge as far as their confidence is concerned because a lot of people didn't give them any hope winning that game going up into Tallahassee and pulling out that victory. So I think the Canes, from a confidence standpoint, now they got banged up. They lost a lot in that game. They won the game, but they lost a lot of battles. And so moving ahead, I got to see who they're going to put in these roles to fill some of these vacancies because they sustained a lot of injuries against Florida State.
I don't look at them in the same class as some of those teams we're talking about. I mean, I think they're a good team. I don't think Miami's a great team. I think they have a lot. Secondary, I have a lot of concerns. Quarterback spot, Rozier did enough, but it wasn't super high-powered, super octane. And now you throw in Walton being out.
Mark Walton, the running back.
I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're going to be a team that we're talking about in the final.
Right below. I mean, they're. I don't think they're one of those teams that can challenge unless they get on that kind of a roll, and it's one of those years for one of those kind of teams.
What about Oklahoma with one loss? If they go on,
we talked about this. By the way, last week we talked about this on College Football Live. We might even have been in our cowboy hats. We talked about how some people were buying into Oklahoma's defense in the turnaround, and we didn't see it. I definitely didn't see it.
That was the top 3, and you guys like, no, they're not. They're not
in the defense.
Exactly.
And they showed you with their defense that they don't have a great defensive line. That's an issue. I don't think they're a team that they had one great week against Ohio State, and besides that, I think they're a team that has too many fatal falls.
With just one loss, does that eliminate them from the college football playoff?
No, absolutely not. No way. And think who they beat. They beat one of the teams that possibly could be vying for that other spot. So how do you say that team traveled up north, spanked your hiney, but you're going to be sitting out in the playoffs? That ain't going to happen.
There are too many other moving parts to say with one loss will they get in. I mean, because say if Ohio State loses another game or 2 games, then now Ohio State win doesn't look as great, on their resume. So there's too many other
Ohio State would still get in. What are you talking about?
They'll get in. The Sooners won't. Right. The Buckeyes are good.
All right. Buckeyes, they're good. So they're in. Gino, you're out.
I'm out.
Man, she tosses him every week.
I know, but it's cute, though.
Nice pocket square, though.
Say bye, Gino.
Leave the chair. Gino, we need this, actually. We just don't need you. No, we need the chair. Sorry. Yeah, thanks for your time. He always classes it up for us. Gino,
Love
holding
the
it down
pocket
here in Harrison, Virginia. Gino. They don't care at all. Well, coming up on Saturday, it is the Red River Showdown, according to Dez. Oklahoma taking on Texas. First-year head coaches battling out at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. You can always stream it live on the ESPN app. And when we come back on College Game Day Live, we are going to pick somebody out of this crowd to go up against Dez and David on a little college football trivia. Yeah, guys.
Oh, here we go.
It's happening.
Let's go.
You better get the dub.
You're watching College Football Live. Weekend Tailgate. Presented by Wrangler.
Stop natural.
Game Day live from James Madison tomorrow at 9 on ESPN.
Well, that's the game that everyone here at Harrisonburg, Virginia is excited about. Number 1, James Madison University taking on 14th ranked Villanova. It is Friday, and it's a special crowd, so we thought we would do something very, very special. And for the very first time on College Football Live Tailgate, we are actually going to have a trivia. And we had to ask a student to join us. So Samantha Seaton is here. Samantha, what is your major?
I am in the School of Media Arts Design, concentrating in journalism.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all righty.
You're
Okay.
smarter than Dez and David.
Right in the ring.
That's not hard to do.
We'll see.
Hold on. I'm not going to put that. It's not harder to be smarter than me. I can promise you that.
Okay, we got our whiteboards here, so I'm going to ask the question, you write them down, and then we'll ask to reveal one at a time, okay?
Now, you said this is a
Now,
college...
remember, you guys are cheering for Samantha. Because you want your Duke dog to win. Okay.
All right.
First question is, James Madison was the blank number president. That's cheated. Okay, go ahead, Samantha.
I'm ready.
4.
Okay. 4. Y'all cheated. The correct answer is number 4.
Why do we cheat?
I know for a fact you didn't know that.
Washington, Adams, Jefferson, James Madison. I give you the first 3.
Question number
Hater.
2.
Come on
Name
now.
the 4 teams that won the college football playoff in 2015, which is the last time we were here at James Madison.
The 4 teams that went to
That
college.
went to the college football playoff?
football playoff.
Oh, wow.
2015.
Is that was the first one? That was the second one. Was that the first one or second one?
No one's gonna tell you, bro.
Hold on. Was it the first one or second one?
That's cheating.
Hold on.
All right, you ready, Samantha?
Hold on.
I could only think of a few.
Hold on. Give us a
I
tap.
don't know how
Go
well
ahead,
I'll
turn
do.
yours around. Hold
I'm still right.
Hold on. You're right.
Well, if I had more time, I could have gotten it if you...
You guys, you have one job. You said if it was college football that you would get these questions right. Go. Too late. You guys lost.
I can't.
I know.
I got 2.
No,
I know.
David got 2. How many? What percentage of the college football playoff is that, David?
That would be 50%.
Good job.
Is this right? Is this right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I will tell you how I remember.
No, it's not
How did
right.
you remember? It is right. Oklahoma, Michigan State, Alabama, and Clemson.
Yeah, there's no Clemson
Next
there.
question, 2015. Stay in the same year, guys.
That's not right.
Who won the Heisman
No.
Trophy? in
What year?
2015?
What year?
2015?
2015. Who won the Heisman
Who
Trophy?
won the Heisman Trophy? Wow, that's tough. I should know this too.
Desmond has one job.
I should know this.
You're
I
like
know
the
this.
king of the Heisman House.
315.
I know this one.
Hold on.
Thank-
All right. Go ahead, David. You got your answer. Correct.
Henry.
Samantha?
Derrick Henry.
Too late. Des
is right.
too late.
He's right now that we said it.
Too late.
Too late.
Only David got that one right.
Hey!
Last question is, who was the last FCS school game day visited, not JMU? You guys know?
Yep.
The last FCS school that game day visited,
I
that
hope
was
it's
not
this school.
JMU. All right, Samantha,
hope
who you
so.
got? North Dakota State? Nope. North Dakota State? Nope. North Dakota State? Nope. It was Yale at Harvard.
Oh, yeah.
It was in 2014. That was the time before.
Oh, yeah.
So,
You seem so happy that we got that wrong
every
too.
one of y'all
said
got
yeah.
one
It's so
right.
much pleasure.
I got 2.
Who even won that?
Hey, we all
It was
lost.
a tie. It was a failure. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Samantha.
Good luck
Best
with
of
the
luck in
rest of your
school.
career.
Good luck in
Hey,
school.
JMU, we hope we didn't make you
Thanks for joining us.
any dumber, because that could happen here at College Football Live. But these fans, they're so smart. They're already here, getting excited for College Game Day, which is coming our way Saturday morning. And we always have an amazing slate of games, and tomorrow is no different. College football on ABC, Georgia Tech at Miami at 3:30, and then we take you out to USC. Sam Darnold is taking on the Utes, and you can watch both of those games, of course, on the ESPN app.
Awesome.
College Football Live Weekend Tailgate is presented by Wrangler. With new styles and great fits, Wrangler jeans are ready for anything.
Coming up on Game Day tomorrow, you never know what you may hear in a Nick Saban press conference. Tom Rinaldi takes a look at the art of his presser. And filling Christian McCaffrey's shoes, it's no small task, but Stanford running back Bryce Love has emerged into a top back this season. Gino, he's got the story, and how JMU's Trey Sharp found the resolve to continue playing after learning about the death of his father at halftime of a game earlier this season. We've got all that and more coming your way on College Game Day. Man, this crowd has been ridiculously awesome, guys.
Yes,
for
it
Friday.
has.
The best crowd that we've ever had. So I figured we might as well just finish it out with a little bit of cornhole. David versus Des. You go first, David.
Oh, you want me to go first?
I want you to go first.
All right.
Oh, it's kind of close. That might be illegal. Why are you doing like
So aggressive.
Why are you mad? God, so close, so close.
That was gonna slide right in.
Get that out of here.
I don't know who actually won, but it was neither one of you. I think I did. Thank you guys.